You're not Jewish.
I'm not.
You are not from Israel.
No.
So how did we get to, are you a Mossad agent?
That's a great question.
So this is Alexis Wilkins, and she's been busy trying to control all the rumors surrounding her relationship with Kash Patel. And of course, we're going to talk about the accusations of her being an Israeli spy. But that's really just the tip of it, because somehow every controversy just ends up circling back to her, and this keeps happening usually in moments when most people would just stay quiet. Like during the Brown University shooting, they went on Katie Miller's podcast to talk about their relationship, and they opened the episode with a full-page disclaimer letting the audience know that it was filmed before the shooting. But after that, the first thing we hear is Kash Patel defending himself for taking flights to see his girlfriend's shows.
If I was actually abusing it, I would go see every one of her shows. I think I get to like 15% and pay for our personal travel, which we do, like all members of the cabinet and other agency heads do.
But he only has to pay a couple $100 because it just needs to equal what a normal flight would cost. So yeah, $200 for an entire private jet for yourself and your girlfriend is obviously a great deal. After people pieced this together using public information, he was so pissed that he fired the guy who's in charge of aviation at the FBI, even though he had nothing to do with it and had worked there for 27 years. There's an allegation that Patel ordered the SWAT team to escort one of Wilkins' drunk friends home after a night of partying in Nashville, and the guys that they're using have just been reassigned from their regular job, and of course that's not normal. Patel got very upset when this SWAT team briefly left her side at the NRA convention when she was performing the national anthem. So she's a country singer, and her most popular song is called Country Back. But in the comments, it's obvious that most of the attention that she's receiving is still negative. But Patel would call all of these allegations baseless and just meant to attack his girlfriend. I mean, at least that's what he did on Twitter when he said that she was a true patriot and a rock-solid conservative and a country music sensation who has done more for this nation than most of us will do in 10 lifetimes. And even the community notes here pointed out that people weren't really attacking her. They were attacking Patel. And honestly, if he didn't want his girlfriend to be constantly attacked, he should have just done a better job as FBI director, because it really seems like the reason why people are digging into his personal life is because they're trying to understand why he's done such a bad job, which would explain the strangest theory that surrounds Alexis Wilkins, which is that she's a secret Mossad agent working for Israel.
Wilkins works for PragerU, which is a media company that supposedly espouses American values, except for the fact that it is run by a former Israeli military intelligence officer.
The CEO of PragerU actually acknowledges in her bio that she served in military intelligence with the IDF. But there's nothing like that about you. So when this started coming out, were you shocked? I mean, do you think this is really basically just that you're with Kash?
I was shocked. I knew that, that Prager this is kind of something that I think people in the deep sides of the internet like to pick at, when they can't figure out what else is wrong. So
would you like to see additional Epstein files released?
You know what? If people stop calling me a spy, absolutely.
Yeah.
But obviously in private, her and her boyfriend have a completely different take on it. So instead of releasing the files, they just try to poke holes in these allegations. Like when Twitter added mandatory locations, she tried to gloat that her account had always been located in America, even though, of course, it's possible to be an Israeli spy without being located in Israel. And both that post and the Megyn Kelly video are just filled with comments of people saying that she's a spy and doing exactly what a spy would do if they were trying to deflect away from the true nature of their relationship. And I actually agree with Wilkins that if the Justice Department were to just release the files, then people probably wouldn't be jumping to these conclusions. But that's not what happened, and we're seeing more and more proof that that's never going to happen. So instead of just dealing with the situation head on, they have to try to scare people with lawsuits. So far, they've launched 3 lawsuits against right-wing influencers who have been spreading the theory that she's a Mossad agent, including a guy named Sam Parker, because he was questioning the nature of her relationship with Patel, asking why a young Christian woman would meet a Hindu Indian twice her age, which is definitely a pretty intense way of putting it, but it is a valid question as to why she's even interested in Patel. Like, she tries to distract from this question by saying that she couldn't imagine herself with someone her own age.
I blocked the word honeypot from my Instagram comments, if that tells you anything. There are a lot of people out there with age differences. I feel like a couple minutes talking to me, you probably couldn't picture me dating a 26-year-old.
But that definitely just sounds like cope. It's really hard to imagine that she'd still be interested in him if he wasn't the FBI director. Like, even if she isn't a spy, she's definitely done everything she can to translate her position into more conservative fans. Like, she wants us to think that she's just being attacked unfairly by all these right-wing commentators, but she does the exact same type of commentary. Like, when she was working for PragerU, it was in front of a camera. And even now, she's still trying to be like a Candace Owens-style right-wing talk show host. So, she's a country singer, a right-wing commentator, and now the girlfriend of the FBI director. And then when her FBI director boyfriend goes back on his word and does a terrible job, she expects to avoid the blowback with Respect My Privacy tours and lawsuits. And I really doubt that it even bothers Alexis Wilkins all that much. I think she thinks that if she can just ride out this storm, that on the other side, she's going to get to be a conservative icon, which is just totally delusional. Because that connection to the Epstein files is just going to continue to be completely toxic for her.